couple of things that need to be clarified here, and that is that there are a lot of pictures of the ride homes that she got from Utah, so yes. This one, I just wish you could have a colleague here with her boss. She works for a chiropractor named Jeremiah Hoops, and he invited us to his home for Sunday dinner about too long ago. And we went, and he talked about being on the very first trek that they ever did in our state. It was about 30-some years ago. And he said at the end of the day, they trekked and traveled and whatever, and then they said, okay, now here's your supper. And they gave each group one live cheer. And they're all perplexed, they didn't know what to do. And he said, this beauty queen stepped out of the crowd. Melissa grabbed that chicken by the neck, flung it around until his head fell off, and started plucking feathers as fast as she could. He said, I have some very distinct memories of that, and said, printed boldly forever. As it should have been, because that was a skill that she got from Grandma. Now, I want to tell you a couple of things that's, I'm sorry that I don't sound as good as I should, but that's what we have nowadays. A couple of memories that I think are important. When we first started dating, Gay and I, there was Sandy, and she'd bring this guy around named Tom Albaugh. And every time Tom was around, when they'd leave, Grandma would say, boy, that Tom, he's just one in a million. That Tom, he's just, I never heard anything about me. One day when we were married and we had small kids, and we were in the kitchen, and Gay was taking care of the babies, and I went in and I said, Grandma, we're all alone, I won't tell a single soul, just tell me you think I'm one in a million. She just looked at me and smiled and walked off. So this has been a sore spot in my life for quite a long time. She came to see us not too long ago, and she's fun to have at your house to take care of, because all you have to do is drop her off at the temple at 6:30 in the morning and go pick her up at 5. And all the ladies on the temple ship that I serve on know Granny for sure, and they keep asking when she's going to come back. So I told them the story about Tom Albaugh, and I said, you know, the problem with this story is that Tom is one in a million. He's a tall, handsome guy, blonde hair, blue eyes, and he's one of the world's really great guys. But she never said anything to me about that, or included me in those expressions. So I asked all the ladies on our shift, I said, whenever you see Grandma around, coming around, and she's where you're working, just walk over, put your arm around her, and say, well, that Brother Francis, he's really one in a million, isn't he? They promised they would do that, and they did, because that day when Grandma left, she came over to me just before she went out the door, gave me a big hug and said, oh, Ron, you're one in a million. So working at the temple has its advantages, so that's what we did. I've watched Tom and Sandy, they kind of have an on-again, off-again relationship. And it's been on for the last 46, 48 years, so that's what we did. But that was an interesting thing to watch. I decided that I wasn't going to have an on-again, off-again, so we got engaged. I chose April 1st, April Fool's Day, so if she ever gave the ring back, I could say, well, April Fool's anyway. But I promised her if she ever gave me the ring back, she'd never see it again. I think that threatened her enough that she stuck with it that time. Now, why does that have anything to do with anything? When they called me up to schedule open heart surgery about 4 years ago, the lady said, when could you go? And I said, I think I ought to heal from the surgery I've just taken. And instead of starting another one so soon, she said, probably so. I said, good, I get to tell you when I'm well. I'm the one that will say instead of the doctor. She said, when do you want to call me back? I said, call me about the middle of March. So she called me in the middle of March and said, could you come in on such and such a day and have the open heart surgery and get ready? I said, sure, Marty, it'll be just fine. And then she said, great, you'll have to be here at 11 o'clock. I said, sorry, that on Sunday. And I said, sorry, that's not going to work in my world. She said, why not? I said, I got one more World Conference. She said, can you come the next day? I said, that'd be fine. She said, that means the surgery will be on April 1st. Is that a problem for you? I said, it's not a problem for me. I've done some pretty important things on April 1st, and it better not be a problem for your folks. So we went in on April 1st and had the heart surgery taken care of. There's another side of Grandma rounds that I want all of you to remember. And I'm not going to be able to do this without being very emotional, because this memory of Grandma has been very, very sacred to me for a very long time. We were sitting there one day, and she's in the kitchen. I think it's George. He's getting a haircut. Is it George? He's getting a haircut, and it's wintertime, and we came in while Grandma's out doing chores or something, and he hasn't seen us yet. So he comes in on the porch, and you can hear him back there. He stamps all the snow off and takes his boots off and zips his cover off, and hangs his winter coat up, and when he opens the door, Grandma put the scissors down and went over to where he was. reached up around his neck, pulled his head down, gave him a great big kiss. And she said, "Oh, Papa, I missed you all day long." I thought that was a great tribute to him and to her as well. And I think if we would greet each other that way when we've been away for a little while, I think we'd never have any problems worrying about anything going wrong. If we just remember we miss each other very much, it's very important. Grandma is a little bit outspoken, as you probably have figured out. When I gave Day the ring and we gave it to show her parents and tell her we were engaged, we came to the new room and I thought this is probably a place for me to stay back because Grandma and Grandpa were under the old overhead desk, you know, the rocking chair and the lamp there both reading. So I just stood there at the doorway and watched Day go across. Day goes across and she holds her hand out. Grandma grabs a hold of her hand, looks at that diamond ring, looks up at Day, and in a little voice that she knew I could hear, she said, "We haven't decided whether it's good enough or not yet." I guess the jury's probably still out on that, and it should be. Grandma seems outspoken because she knows exactly what needs to be done. That is, to love the Lord and keep the commandments. Serve those and minister those around you. It's very simple. It's not a complicated mess for her. It's just do the right thing and do it every time. And so for that, Grandma, and 1,000 other things that I'd like to talk about, we don't have time for. I want to tell you how much we love you and appreciate you, and we're so delighted to have this opportunity to give a funeral talk for you. She's going to say that the gospel's true, and it is, and I want to add my testimony to hers. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I'll let Ron get the last word on this. I watched all these girls in the Brown family date their folks. And I was lucky. I came, it was Dorothy, her sister, daughter, that introduced me to Sandy at Rick's College. And Sandy didn't want anything to do with me. So I got to know her mother, Myrtle. Myrtle liked me. And then I got to know my mom right here. As my mom died, she became one. And she told me she liked me. And then she was going to convince Sandy that I was the right one for her. And she said, what you better do is come out to the farm and show her that you can work. So I would go out to the farm. That's where you saw me killing chickens. I've never seen so many hard-working people in my life. And I remember one time Larry was out there and the other boys and Roy, and they were making bowls into steers. You don't know how they do that. Talk to your parents. And one of them kicked me in the leg. Grandpa said, "Oh, that's wonderful." And then he turned to me and says, "Young man, if you ever do anything wrong with my daughter, this is going to happen to you." I said, "Okay, Grandpa, I get the message." And then Grandma told me when I walked in, she says, "Well, if you think that's bad, wait till you see what I will do to you if you do anything to my daughter." I love Grandma. And she has been such a... The only reason I have Sandy as a wife is because of this lady right here. She liked me. Sandy is still not sure. But after 48 years, we're still hanging in there. And of course, Ron and Gay, we got married on the same day. And Ron had to make sure that they were married first. So they did. They got married first, and then we got married right after them. And that's probably the last time that the couple let sisters get married on the same ceremony. So that was a great experience for us. We love Ron and Gay. But you're all part of a wonderful family. And I hope we get some more chickens. You should all come out and learn how to chop the head off of a chicken. And how to slaughter a pig. We slaughtered a pig so Jolene could show us how to cook them from over in the Philippines. We had a nice cooked pig out there in front of the farm. And then we killed a cow and slaughtered it. And so I had some great experiences on the farm. And I hope all of you get that opportunity. But I also have a testimony of the gospel. I love it. And the opportunities I've had of going on a mission with my wife and as a young man. And all you young kids, even you young women, think very seriously about going on a mission. one of the greatest experiences you'll have. And you couples, go on missions. They need couples. And I bear you this testimony in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I can truly say I'm in favor. When I was last with being married, let me tell you about the situation. I met Noreen when she's down here in Logan, and hadn't met the family until we were quite far along in this little relationship. And she said, "Got to meet the family. Got to come out and we go up on the weekend because on the weekend everyone comes home and has dinner at Grandma's house on Sylvia's grandkids." And she says, "Now I'm just warning you, they can be pretty tough. They can be a gauntlet you're walking into." And so I was pretty worried, but I thought, well, I'm up for this challenge and stuff. And sure enough, you pull in and all these in-laws, and then Gordon was the boyfriend at the time. You know, he was on a mission over to Japan. We called Noreen collect. You know, what kind of shallow guy is that? But anyway, so I was trying not to do this Gordon guy and go to the office where she's helping her brothers and a dozen roses. And back at the time, that's pretty expensive. You know, this Gordon guy was really after her. But anyway, so I wanted to try to impress the family, and they were very gracious. And I think a lot of that was Grandma Rounds. I think she cut me a break and let me go there. But you know, they come in, we were sitting there eating, and Grandma Rounds is peeling off the cake with a knife and, you know, eating there. And it wasn't too long, I found myself out in the outhouse. The wooden outhouse, I'm thinking, wow, this is a pioneer lady family that can do this. You know, and then bless her heart, you know, you gotta think about this. She bore 10 children, had some miscarriages along the way. Her goal in life was her family, and as many kids as she could have. And early on, if you were a daughter or daughter-in-law, it was when you're having the next child, you know. And now we live in a world where that is the least concern with people. And so I truly look at Norma as a good pioneer stock woman. She's a great lady. But a couple things too, when you walked in there, you didn't want to use the shower very long. The water was precious. Dishes were washed in that much water. And then there's a slop bucket. And it's kind of a culture shock to me now. Well, it's very good. But she's just, her love and welcoming in, and I think she has said that she's glad that Noreen married me instead of Gordon. But anyway, she's a wonderful lady. Great ladies to think about the times that they lived in. I missed out on all the chicken killing, pig killing. I didn't get any of that. And so I missed those times. But anyway, yeah, wonderful lady. We appreciate you so much, Norma, for what you've taught your family. I'm a great example. We would do well to follow your example.
All right, so I gotta talk about this because Tom and I have a very similar story. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Granny either. I got called and I was in California and Kira called me and was like, "Yeah, I'm ready now." And it's because of you, you know. So anyway, one of the earliest memories I have of Granny is the fact she had blue hair, and my brother-in-law Ned called her Granny Smurf. So that's what I knew of Granny. And then what was interesting was when I went there for the weekend, I went up to Kira the first time I was at the farm, and you know, it was like I didn't realize this was like a test, but it was a test. So you should have a shirt. Brown said we should make a shirt saying I survived, you know, Granny Smurf's house or something for the weekend, you know. Because I guess I passed and I was in the family because I survived living with Granny for a weekend. But I remember being there one time and Kira was like, "Go," you know, kind of nudged me, go out, go work. I'm like, you know, I'm here as a visitor. I don't even know. I never had been on a farm in my life. I was like, "Well, you want me to go? I got a pitchfork and throw some hay up in the barn or something?" I don't know what you want me to go do. I don't know how to went out and tinkered around, just went outside, just so she makes me feel like I was working, but I didn't do anything. Anyway, it's been great. Grandma, we love you, and thank you for saving me, for having me into the family, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have done it. So thank you. You're a matchmaker, I guess. Very convincing.
Survived Grandma Rounds. We're all alive. Even though we were driving at 11 years old across the divided highway. It didn't even have an underpass at the time. And we would play what was called Frogger, but Grandma taught us how to minister at the same time she taught us how to drive. She also taught us how to work hard. I don't know. Grandma, you're still alive. I can't believe we're doing this. But, anyway, so she taught us how, I still run into people all over the temple, and they're like, I can't believe your grandma is 96 years old, still here every day. And I said, yes, she can still work me into the ground. Even the other day we drove up and Grandma was out in her raspberry patch. But last but not least, Grandma, I learned that I can't go to the temple with her. It's the only time we've almost been kicked out of the temple because she will get the giggles. and we don't do very good whispering together. But anyway, Grandma, love you. Thank you. And that's it.
Bluetooth is connected.
Alright, so the reason I'm singing this song is called 5 Foot 1, but really it's a song from the 20s that is after 5 Foot 2, Eyes of Blue. Have you ever heard that song? It used to show up in movies and stuff like that. Anyway, my connection to that song is that when I was a kid, we used to just play with everything in Grandma's house. There was nothing sacred. We'd wear our shoes and we'd climb all over in the closets and jump from the bunk bed to the big bed and pull on all the light switches from the cords and just act like apes in there. And I found a book on Grandma's piano, and I was playing around with it and found all these neat pictures in it. And it was a collection of songs from the 20s, and it had 5 Foot 2 in there. And that song, I just thought it was so corny and so funny. And Grandma saw me playing with it. She said, "Oh, just keep that book." And that, you've noticed that's what she does in her house, huh? If you like something in her house, oh, just take it. And so I took that book home, and I've had it since I was 12 years old or something like that. And I've given a lot of songs out of it to my voice students over the years, and this is my favorite one. And the author of the lyrics is Gabe Franson. She has no time to sit around.
coming. We're going to kind of close this now. Thank you for each of your families for what you have done to help us in this little endeavor. From the programs to the music to the videoing to the taping to all the work that all of you have done. We just want to let Mom know how much we appreciate and love her. And I think this is a perfect time when she's well and happy and able to understand how much she means to each of our lives. So we wish her well, and I think we'll see her around for about 5 or 6 more years, so you're not going anywhere soon. Thank you all for coming, and please drive home safely. We'll have Larry give our closing prayer.
Thank all of you.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for today. We're thankful for the memories that's been restored to our minds. We feel bad for the passing of Blaine and Arnold and Dad. We're thankful Mom is still with us and to enjoy reminiscing of old times. We do ask a blessing for Rod and Kathy on their mission, Tavia on her mission. We ask that we may be found doing the right things at the right time for the right reasons. We ask for thy protection as we go home. We ask this in Jesus Christ. Amen.
We're going to have Granny Rounds pull her chair up here by her little spray, and any family who would like